And now, please welcome to the stage our next presenter, Felix Hartmann.
What's up? Gotta do this for the gram. All right, what's up, guys? So, there I was in the lobby of my hotel in Paris. It was 5 a.m. in the morning, and I had just gotten back from a long night out. And right around that time, when I was ready to call it a night, one of my contacts over from the US sent me multiple messages urging me to get on a conference call right then and there with his business partner. So I put on my clothes again, went downstairs to the lobby, and hopped on the call. After a couple of minutes of the typical, small talk flattery, we got straight to business. They wanted to buy a company I had just built over the previous 20 days for $50,000 right then and there on the spot. Now, I could have traveled for quite a while longer if I would have taken the deal, but I decided to decline because of the potential of the business. But still, that moment made me think, how did I get there? How was it that I was traveling Europe on a whim with my trading profits, that I had a potential acquisition with one of my companies for a high seven-figure number, and just got offered the median annual household income for a project I created 20 days ago? You see, I'm not using these numbers to impress you, but much rather to impress upon you the impact we can have at such a young age. You see, money to me is much more a quantification of the value we can serve to others. And at 22, I should be looking for an internship. I should be looking for that well-paid corporate job. But somehow I was here. So I kept thinking about it, and I started to realize that it was the decisions that I made years ago. And a lot of them, the decisions I made while I was sitting in your seats, right here at FAU, that led me to the present moment. The decisions that were the ripples that will plant the seeds for the opportunities that arise every single day for me. So let's take it back. Back in 2014, I pledged a fraternity here at FAU, and I was a pledge. And I was also broke, so I couldn't afford going to formal. But at the same time, I had a big trading investment portfolio, which I've earned with my hard-earned cash on minimum wage. So I could have splurged my money right and left and, had a good time, but I decided not to do so because it wouldn't take me further. Now, in 2015, also still a full-time college student, I was working on 3 different startups, which have all since gone to startup heaven, like most startups do. It was failure after failure after failure, and I should have seen myself as just an utter massive failure. But somehow I didn't, because look, most people never even start. And a lot more people, they quit the second the market slaps them in the face. But you see, you have to stick through these moments. And that's what led me to 2016, when I was finally running my first fully investor-funded startup. You see, at that time, I was still a full-time college student. I just graduated last May. But the crazy thing was my day-to-day routine was getting up at like 6 a.m., getting to class at 8 a.m., and leaving the office at midnight. Most people wouldn't call that fun exactly, And it only made it harder when every single Friday I would check Snapchat and I would see all my friends pounding down the drinks over the cove. And I was thinking, I kind of want to be there, but I've got too much responsibilities on my shoulders to leave. So what happens is you start choosing your tomorrows for today, but when tomorrow seems to never come, you start questioning whether you sacrificed all your yesterdays for nothing. So you might start seeing a pattern here. You will never live an extraordinary life until you do what ordinary people are not willing to do. So generally people, that's the irony, compare themselves by the peers. They say, hey, I want to be the smartest, I want to be the strongest, I want to be the most successful, generally of your group of friends. But at the same time, you're unwilling to do more than what the others are doing. So, it just makes sense. To get superlative results, you need superlative actions. So if you want to be the smartest, you probably need to be the one that studies the most, or be the strongest and bench the most, So whatever the result is, the actions need to be aligned. But somehow, we always make responses like, well, they're not doing it, so why should I? Or I've got all this time, or perhaps my favorite, I'm on track. What does on track even mean? Who decides what the track is? Because generally the track is what society as a whole decides for you. And if everybody is on track, then I'm sorry, but on track by definition means average. And I mean, I don't want to be too hard here, but average in the United States generally means slightly overweight, slightly depressed, definitely very unhappy with your career, and you have to make a living with $50,000 a year for 2 adults and 2 children. It's not that great. And look, entrepreneurship, which we're talking about today, is your golden ticket to escape that and to really live a creator life with more wealth and more impact. Because look, to me, entrepreneurship is taking risks to create value for others. Just look at the big people. We got Mark Zuckerberg, Bill Gates. They created tools that have allowed millions of people around the world to create businesses, to make a living, and to connect with their loved ones. And as a result, fairly, they got paid. So it's win-win. As a matter of fact, a child in Africa right now that has a smartphone has more advanced technology than President Bill Clinton had 20 years ago. So you are able to make the world a better place. So all these narratives that exist right now about entrepreneurship, wealth being taken away from others is false. Entrepreneurship is not a zero-sum game, but much rather you can create value, you can create wealth by creating products or services that enrich the lives of the many. And as a result, you benefit as well. It's just like when you go on an airplane. What they always tell you is, in the case of an emergency, you put on your own safety mask first. And then once you have it, you help as many people as possible. So the more you succeed financially or else how, the better position you'll be in to help as many people as possible, the people you love and the causes you care about. So, when you leave here today, set those big goals, the big goals that inspire you, focus on things that you love doing. And then don't wait till tomorrow and think that it will happen in one big stride, because goals aren't accomplished in big strides. They're nailed out day by day, week by week, month by month, by small steps that you take over and over. And overall, don't be afraid of failure. That's the risk you have to take. Be willing to accept failure, because you might fail once, you might fail twice, 3 times, maybe a lot more times, but one day you will. And that's worth it. So, embrace the failure and don't push off your dreams till tomorrow. The sooner you'll start, the sooner you'll get there. Thank you.